We're diving right into this explainer today with some heavy news. The music world has literally just lost one of its absolute most iconic voices. We're of course talking about the legendary Welsh singer Bonnie Tyler, who sadly passed away in a hospital in Portugal at the age of 75. It's really a moment for us to pause and reflect on a legacy that completely shaped pop culture. So we're going to explore the incredibly unique journey of a voice that transcended generations and break down exactly how her life and career unfolded into something truly immortal. Okay, let's dive into this. When we talk about Bonnie's legacy, we really have to start right here in 1983, Total Eclipse of the Heart. It wasn't just a global hit, right? It was the ultimate power ballad that completely defined a generation. If you were around back then, or honestly, even if you discovered it decades later, you instantly know the sheer gravity of this song. It validated all our deepest, most dramatic emotions and became an absolute, undisputed staple in global pop culture.
So today, the world didn't just lose a chart topper, we lost a true musical force. And there's a big difference. Being a pop star is, about popularity. But being a musical force, that's about leaving an undeniable, permanent texture on the landscape of music itself. We literally lost one of the most recognizable, gravelly voices in all of music history.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how incredible her hero's journey really was. The contrast here is staggering. Born Gaynor Hopkins, she actually grew up as a coal miner's daughter in the small town of Skewen, Wales. Just think about the sheer distance from those really humble beginnings to becoming a worldwide music icon. It perfectly maps out the trajectory of a true bona fide legend.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that you might assume she was simply born with that unmistakable, raspy vocal tone. But incredibly, no, it was born completely unexpectedly from a vocal surgery she underwent back in 1976. Just think about how rare and powerful that kind of phenomenon is in music history. She took what easily could have been a career-ending medical mishap, and she turned it into her absolute greatest, globally recognized trademark. Talk about a silver lining.
And that trademark voice went on to build a truly timeless career. As you can see, her milestones don't just sit trapped in one specific era. They span across completely different decades of music history. From that fateful vocal surgery in '76 to her era-defining hit in '83, all the way up to a highly memorable Eurovision performance in 2013. She achieved the kind of longevity that very, very few artists ever actually get to see.
Now, of course, that kind of longevity definitely didn't go unnoticed. She earned 3 Grammy nominations along the way, which really acknowledges her craft at the very highest levels of the recording industry. And, perhaps most prestigious of all, she was actually awarded an MBE by Queen Elizabeth II. So these aren't just your standard awards, they are major markers of a profound, enduring contribution to the arts. Which brings us to an incredibly important question for us to ponder. Where does her music echo today? Take a second and think about your own life, the media you consume, and how her music continues to unexpectedly pop up and permeate modern pop culture. Because, let's be real, it's one thing to have hits in the 80s, but it's another thing entirely to remain genuinely relevant today. Well, the answer is a practically immortal cultural impact. Her songs are constantly finding a way back onto the charts, pulsing through movie soundtracks like Holding Out for a Hero and beloved films like Old School and Bandits. And, amazingly enough, she has literally become a permanent fixture of nature itself. Her music acts as the unofficial anthem every single time a solar eclipse occurs anywhere in the world. Her music is just woven into the very fabric of how we experience culture. So, while her voice has sadly been silenced, her music, that remains forever. Rest in peace, Bonnie. Looking back at this entire journey, from those humble Welsh beginnings to absolute global icon status, it really leaves us with a fascinating thought to chew on. Seriously, how many artists out there can truly claim to have become a permanent soundtrack to the cosmos itself? Thank you so much for exploring her incredible life and legacy with me today.